Hello, and welcome to another predictions episode for the 2016 presidential primary season. In this episode, I'll be talking about the April 19th presidential primary being held in the state of New York on the Republican side of the field. There's three main candidates that are vying for contention there. Those candidates are Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, and John Kasich. In this video, I'll be talking about who I think will win and why I think they'll win. My prediction is that on the 19th, the Republican voters in the state of New York who choose to participate in the primary will vote for Donald Trump, who will win, is my prediction. Then Ted Cruz will be second, and Kasich will be third. Now, the reason for why I think that Donald Trump is particularly suited to winning in the state of New York has everything to do with the fact that he grew up in New York. He spent a lot of his career in the state of New York, and he's a very known quantity in the New York media market, especially in radio and the tabloids in New York City. Given that New York City is a substantial population center for the state of New York, and Trump has spent, a good 30 to 40 years dominating the media market there, given his success within the real estate arena in the city of New York and around the country, to be fair. Donald Trump is definitely a known quantity in New York State and New York City culture. Ted Cruz, not so much. John Kasich, again, not so much. And since part of politics, and especially in a primary where turnout is lower, frankly, than a general election, name recognition's a big deal. It's really big. There's a variety of other reasons, though, for why I think Donald Trump will be the winner in New York's primary, as compared to Ted Cruz and John Kasich. So the first big reason why I think Donald Trump will be the winner for New York's primary on the 19th of April has to do with what Ted Cruz said in one of the debates about New York values. That is something that played out in the media, and it played out through the campaign process as sort of this negative statement regarding this the fact that Donald Trump is from New York, and that he has a certain way of looking at the world, certain way of talking, and participating in cultural discussions that, is not more rural. It's a more urban kind of way of, participating in politics. And frankly, targeting Donald Trump for his New York values, quote unquote, may have benefited Ted Cruz in the state of Iowa. He did win Iowa, but it has not benefited Ted Cruz right now in terms of support in the state of New York. I do not think that Ted Cruz will win in New York State's primary. I think that the winner is going to be Trump. The second big reason I think the winner is going to be Trump. Trump has a message that has broad appeal to a lot of voters within the Republican base, considering he's still the front runner. He still won a lot of contests. But I think that his message has particular appeal within the state of New York, given his long history within the culture and the city of New York. He really knows how to chat with New Yorkers, to really speak to their needs, their concerns, their beliefs, and without a doubt, Donald Trump is from New York. There's no question. You listen to the way he speaks, how he acts. You notice how he built his empire. New York plays a big role in that. And so I think that Donald Trump really is going to do well in New York State for their primary. The third reason has to do with the fact that when Donald Trump's from a place, or he's made a pretty sizable impact in a place through having a home there, or having businesses in a place, or being active in the community or in the news media or the culture in a place, he's done pretty well. Looking at his victory in Florida, I mean, that was a pretty tremendous victory. That was pretty much one of the big reasons that Marco Rubio is no longer, actively in the campaign. He suspended his campaign. It is because Trump did so darn well in Florida, where he happens to have a home and spends a good portion of his year. At least that's what he claimed during the campaign trail, and I have no reason to doubt him, considering his long history with Mar-a-Lago, one of his residences or former residences rather, in the state of Florida. And so, given that Trump has, Trump Tower and his name festooned on many buildings around the city of New York, I have every reason to believe that he will win the state of New York. I think Cruz will be second. I think that Kasich will be third. Now, for why I think Kasich will be third, frankly, I think he's being outspent. I think that Cruz has spent a lot of money on advertising and on getting his name out there and just succeeding. He's won a few contests. He won in Wisconsin. And I just think Kasich is getting outspent, and he's getting out name recognitioned in the name recognition game. I think that Trump, frankly, is doing quite well with how much money he's spent. He hasn't spent nearly as much money on this campaign primary season as Cruz or even Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush spent a lot of money and didn't do terribly well, considering he suspended his campaign. But the point I'm making is that I think that Ted Cruz will get second because of the momentum off of his recent victories in Colorado with their process there in Wisconsin. And I think that Trump will win because he's still the front runner. He's from New York. He's got a lot of name recognition awareness there. And I think Kasich will be third. Considering that winning in New York is really important for getting lots of delegates, I think that Trump will maintain his front-runner status in this primary season. I think Cruz is still trying to close that gap, though. But I think Trump will win by between 10 to 15% of the vote. Probably closer to 10. I think that Cruz does have momentum. And Kasich, I think, will split the vote in some respects between Cruz and Trump, that more people go towards voting for Kasich who might be Trump supporters than Cruz supporters, is my belief. But even with the vote split by Kasich, I still think that Trump will win the plurality of the vote, which is still enough for him to win. And so I think he'll be the winner on April 19th in the primary being held in the state of New York. It will be very interesting to see how it all turns out. It's a big state. It's really important for Trump to actually demonstrate the ability to win the nomination, to become the nominee, for him to win New York State. There's so many reasons for why it's advantageous to him in that primary compared to the other two candidates. And so if he can't win in New York, it sends sort of this message down the line that he might not be able to win in any of the other contests coming up, given all the advantages that are sort of have been built up over the years because of Trump's presence, continued presence in the media spotlight in New York especially. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting April 19th, and it's a big day for both sides. I'll be talking about the Democratic side of the race in the next episode for who I think will win on the Democratic side between Sanders and Clinton. But my prediction, as it stands for the Republican primary, is Trump wins, Cruz gets second, Kasich third. And that's my prediction. It'll be fun to see what happens. All right.